Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Note Show. Your host Superman in the house. I think we've got a pretty exciting show today, so I hope you guys enjoy it. And don't forget, if you're coming in, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and also smash the follow on X. That helps a lot there. And of course, get your daily dose of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Pulse Chain, and much, much more. So it's going to be a lot of fun today. We're going to talk about, is the bottom in on April the 15th? It's looking very likely, and we'll talk about that in a minute. We got a lot of big news. We're going to talk about, obviously, the crypto majors, the stock market. We're going to talk about a Bitcoin immersion. We're going to talk about strategy, and we're going to obviously get into Pulse Chain and, of course, LibertySwap with their big, big wallet. We're going to talk all about that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and check out all the top performance today. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's see here. Let's get into the show straight away and kick it off. We're going to kick it off with the stock market. Don't forget to get in the chat there and make it lively. Let's go. So, US stocks futures steady with Iran a ceasefire. There's just slightly up at the moment, and of course they've got the CPI or inflation data coming in on Friday. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Dow Jones though up 0.6%. Another great day. 275 points to 48,185. It is hot to trot on the old stock market. Look at that. The last 2 days, just awesome there on the weekly chart. And then we got the S&P 500 up 0.6%, 42 points to 6,824, looking really good there for the S&P 500. The Nasdaq there up 0.8%, 187 points to 22,822. So we're looking pretty good, guys. Looking pretty good indeed. Volatility index is below 20 now. Remember, it went over 30 a couple of times during the turmoil of the Iranian war. And then we've got the US dollar at 98.67, still elevated but down from where it was around 100. So looking pretty good there. Going to commodities, we've still got elevated oil prices. So that's still of interest. Obviously, when we're in a ceasefire period, it's volatile. But the thing is that we've got the process going. So we've got a de-escalation, right? So that's where the market can rally from, and that's what it's doing. So we've got West Texas there at $8.50. Up a little bit there, 63 cents, just over 0.5%. But Brent oil is just down a tad, $96.32. We've got gold at the moment is down 0.5%, $27 to just below 4,800. Silver there down 0.75%, 56 cents to $75.87. So those are down as well. Looking at some of the news overnight, we had obviously the US-Iran ceasefire talks to take place in Pakistan this week. And of course, towards the end. So this is probably this weekend. Delegates from the US and Iran are set to meet in Pakistan in the coming days after both sides agreed to attend a 2-week ceasefire earlier in the week. But Iran almost immediately accused Israel and US of violating the ceasefire and demanded that Lebanon be included in any peace deal. Obviously, they're proxies. They're proxies, right? Israel said it will separately negotiate a ceasefire with Beirut as hostilities between the two countries continued. It was not immediately clear whether Iran will attend the ceasefire talks, however, especially after Iran's ambassador to Pakistan abruptly deleted a social media post stating that an Iranian delegation would arrive in Islamabad on Thursday night. The ceasefire discussions come amid deep differences on key issues between the US and Iran, and the Strait of Hormuz being a major point of contention. Iran was seen leaving the passage largely blocked this week. Obviously, some ships got through, despite earlier stating that it would allow safe passage through Hormuz for the duration of the 2-week ceasefire. So a lot of jockeying positions there. Trump's going to put up with a little bit of funny play, but remember the art of the deal. That's how he plays, the art of the deal. So he will have maximum options, maximum leverage, all those things to play out. And there's also a second part of this too, right? Post the midterms. Just think about that in the future. So we're going to look at that too a little bit. Still, the prospect of direct US-Iran ceasefire talks for the first since the conflict began in late February cheered financial markets, with Wall Street seeing sustained buying this week. So it was pretty good, right? Pretty good. Now, coming up on Friday, we've got the CPI or inflation data for March. That is due on Friday. The print is expected to show a sharp increase in headline inflation, largely due to rising fuel costs stemming from the Iran war. Iran's close of Hormuz sparked a global increase in oil and gas prices, which translates into higher fuel and utility costs. I remember that America is the big winner out of this because not only is the Iran conflict about Iran's nuclear ability with the terrorist regime, but it's also about the positioning of China and the rest of the world, right? So there's a lot of potential big plays going on here globally for a restructure that Trump is doing all at once. Both North America, the greater United States, we're talking about, South America, where China was moving into the communistic countries. They've been one by one unpicked. The oil supplies of Venezuela, of course, one of the biggest there, also moved in the big play. And now we've also got the Strait of Hormuz, where a lot of the other oil is moved through. 20% of the world's oil. China, of course, a big requirement there for China, as well as India. They're a big part of that 20%. And then you'd have countries like Japan and Europe, right? So Trump has made not only dealing with the big nuclear risk, but also reorganizing the world's oil supply. And that's really important because obviously, China, if it gets emboldened, they may very well try to do something like Taiwan, and then that would truly usher us into a potential third world war, right? So all of these things are being already positioned by Trump, and exciting times there. Let's see how it goes. But obviously, a deal to be done. Trump wants to get a good deal. We're after a good deal too, and so to make the world a safer place there. So lots of things. Now, a lot of things Trump's doing are well overdue, decades overdue. Remember, in the West, we've had progressives and liberals lead us. First liberals into the 2000s, 90s, 2000s, into the 2010s, and then progressives started taking over their parties, radical, Marxist, left, godless type of people, and they've been destroying the West, right? So Trump's come in. Is he last man standing? He's certainly pushing back and reorganizing the world in major ways. And it's very exciting to see that. Now, there's a lot more work to be done, but good thing he's got more time. So we're going to keep a lookout for that. Also, the midterm politics looks like it's been switching back into the GOP favor. So we're going to continue to watch that. Obviously, Trump, if he gets a good deal in with Iran, he's got a nice runway into the midterms for November and can continue that momentum with security and prosperity for all. And that's what he'll be looking for too as well in his runway. Keep look out for all those things. And it's so called. If we keep the House in the United States, then it's all good. If we don't keep the House, then the evil Democrats will come in and all hell will break loose. Let's keep watching out for that. So that's some of the things we've got going. So inflation coming up on Friday. Let's see how it goes. Now, obviously, CPI data, consumer price index there comes days after the meeting, the minutes of the the Federal Reserve March meeting, which showed policymakers concerned with inflationary effects from the Iran war. Now, obviously, they continue. They would reasonably expect an inflation shock from the oil, although I don't know if we're going to see much of that. It could be a bit like a ripple that has a very low impact on the shores, as opposed to a bit of a tidal wave there. So I think it's going to be relatively muted if the war is kept in this little window that we've got at the moment. So it might pop up, but that's pretty much it. Any signs of increasing sticky inflation are likely to give the Fed less impetus. Well, we haven't really seen inflation too bad. Like I say, 2.4 on the CPI to about 3.1% on the PCE, the major inflation indicator. That's a broader measure of inflation that the Fed uses, right? So we got the federal funds rate at the moment at 3.5 to 3.75. So we're still probably at least 50 basis points above the inflation rate. And we also see the true inflation index much lower than that, right? In some ways, less than 1% on certain things. So we're going to keep a lookout for that. The CPI print comes after the PCE price data for February, of course, read in line with expectations. So that's kind of where we are. Obviously, it's going to have some impact in the short term. I think it's going to be a very short-term blip there for the US. Now, outside the US, bigger problems, right? Because there's a lot of supply problems. A lot of the progressive governments put in this net zero, which is just psychopath, high-cost energy. For the most part, for not everywhere, but for probably 90% of the countries. And it's just madness, right? Madness. I mean, remember Germany got rid of all their nuclear power plants, madness. Then ended up buying gas from Russia during the war, either directly or indirectly. It's just insane, So people buying the Russian oil directly, indirectly as well. So it's just crazy, right? So this is the madness of the left. They are truly mad. All right. So gross domestic product data will be on Thursday also. Data on Thursday last week showed that US economy growth was substantially slower than initial expected in the fourth quarter. But we're expecting first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter to rally up with GDP. We saw really good employment numbers and we've got the AI boom playing out, which is going to be far more dramatic and far longer than people expect playing out there. So that's some of the big stuff there. Let's jump over to the crypto markets. Obviously, we had a good night on stocks. We've got economic news, CPI on Friday. Let's have a look where the crypto markets is there right now. And we can see that we have the crypto market sitting at 2.532 trillion, up 1%. We've been stuck around this area, haven't we? And it's still a very small market cap compared to gold, compared to the Mag 7, compared to the non-Mag 7 on the stock market, which are all around 40 trillion plus each. And so we've got a long way to go, probably at least a 15x to get up to parity there, somewhere like that. And so, yeah, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. The future is on the blockchain, particularly on Bitcoin and Ethereum, with a few other chains getting some love as well. And so it's going to be pretty awesome. Now, in terms of altcoin season, I don't know whether we're going to get a broad altcoin season, but I think we're going to get an altcoin season. But you're really going to have to focus on the quality of the projects that you're in. So I think you should really start thinking about that now. Obviously, not financial advice, do your own due diligence. But I suggest that you really start to look at your portfolio and say, have I got good diversification on the best stuff? Have I got the best projects on the best chains? These are sort of things you need to think about because we're really probably getting ready for that liftoff, right? So, just think about things like that. Well worth a thing, and maybe get rid of all the crap that you might have in your portfolio, unless you think it's fun. So yeah, look, I always say 5% into really speculative things of your portfolio is kind of a cool thing. Keep it in DGN wallets and go do that good stuff. It's kind of a good rule of thumb, but you have to decide what you're going to do there. But you certainly want to have a lot of the majors. We're talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. in your portfolio. You want to have diversification on blockchains as well, and you just want to hunt down the best stuff that's going to probably do the best there, and it has a lot of revenue pushing it up. It's got its own business or a really huge community, etc. Good brand, all that sort of stuff, and is likely to grow a lot there and leverage off the majors themselves. So just a couple of thoughts there as we move forward. Now, I've got here, what have I got? Just before we get into the crypto stuff really deep, why have I got the bottom in on the 15th? Well, guys, the tax returns for the US are on the 15th of April. Typically after that, we see a rally in crypto, and it's usually quite good sentiment. So April 15th there, keep a lookout for that. So it's only 4 or 5 days away. Tax returns there due, and so that's a big deal. So we see that play out. So Tom Lee, remember Tom Lee and DeMark there, talking about already hit the bottom of Ethereum. We'll talk about that in a minute, but that's we're very much in this probably bottom window here right now, excluding anything really bad happening. Another black swan event. Excluding that, that we are looking pretty good here, and I'm going to show you the case for why we're getting structural change in the market and the 4-year cycle, and therefore maybe we don't get the 70% pullbacks, and maybe we don't get the bottom of the power law. Maybe we just get this 50 to 65% pullback, depending on Bitcoin and Ethereum respectively. So that's kind of where we are right now. So let's have a look. Things are changing, guys. Things are changing. So we're really being institutionally driven as opposed to retail driven at the moment. Retail will come in, but we also got it's going to come in big actually. But we've also got a new things happening where we've got the debt markets transferring the wealth over. So we're going to talk all about that. It's a lot of great stuff. You guys got to get excited, man, because it's going to get more tougher out in the normal world where you're going to work 9 to 5 because of AI. AI has changed the game, and then we've got humanoid robots coming at least, if not the end of this year, next year, and they're going to start mass production, right? So the world's about to change dramatically for those that are in traditional expectations about their life and employment. And so you guys here at the right time, right place in crypto, because this is where all the money is going to be made, the magic money, right? And this is gonna take off 10, 20, who knows, maybe 40 years off your life having to work and have to compete not only against a lot of mass immigration, but also against robots and AI. So this is really important. You should tell anybody that you love, go tell them to get their heads on, get in play, because it's about to get real. All right, so let's get into the Bitcoin. So we've got Bitcoin at the moment is at 72,300, looking pretty solid. We're up 2.2% right now. Ethereum at 2,200, up 1.2%. So we're looking kind of nice here at the moment. XRP at number 4, up 1.4%, $1.35. Remember, Ripple is doing the banking system there, so that's going to be an interesting play. BNB up 0.9%, $605. Very controlled, but doesn't move around as much as the rest of the majors, right? So it's kind of cool. Solana there up 2%, $83.50. It's going to get a lot of love, particularly around payment rails and AI agents, and of course the meme coins. But of course, has issues for bigger institutions that have less risk tolerance because it's been stopped and had all sorts of problems in the past. The blockchain, Tron up 1%, 32 cents, and Dogecoin there up 1.5% at 9.3 cents. Probably going to get a lot of love from Elon Musk's X wallet, right? So the money wallet there, which we're expecting to go global, global probably in the next month, and then crypto is probably going to be added within a month or two after that, I suggest. So it's going to be fiat crypto, and Doge likely to get preferential treatment there. We shall see, but that is seems to be Elon's favorite there. Moving to the top performer in the last 24 hours. Well, guess what, guys? A very strong showing. Bitcoin. Woohoo! Now, over the last week, what's the best showing over the last week? Bitcoin up 8.3%, guys, followed by Ethereum. Now, remember, very important that 90% of the liquidity, essentially, the money is going to go through Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's going to be pretty huge. Obviously, Solana do quite well as well. But remember, this is where the big money is coming. This is where is the low-hanging fruit. So you got relatively low risk, but really high upside. And that is just a beautiful setup, right? A beautiful setup and not always easy to attain. So just remember, that's why I always say the kind of the foundation there. Now, looking at the top 100, let's have a look at that. So we've got Siren up a big move here, 265% for the week, 24% today. 261% for blockchain capital, apparently, although the chart looks a bit red, and it's got no volume on it, so I don't know what's happening with that. Maybe it's just misregistered there. ZKX there at the moment, up 55%, up 16%. Morpho there up 24%, up 10% for the day, and Arbitrum up 21% for the week, 10% today. So those are the top 5, although question mark over the blockchain capital one there. 1,000 top 1,000 coins. We've got RaveDAO up 234%. Magma Finance up 89%, and everything up 44%. The reason why I point those out, in case you guys want to check out something new, right? You can check out top 1,000 and say, hey, what's going on with that? Obviously, you don't want to buy the top on anything, if it's had a power move, but it's always interesting to see whether something new technology has happened or some big partnership. There always, lots of different things you can get off that. BitTensor Tau, trending overall. RaveDAO looking pretty good, and of course Templar there as well, down quite dramatically, trending as well there. So something going on, drama there. Right, so that's overall overview of the major cryptos. Let's go to the Bitcoin and zoom in on that. Look at this, guys. Woo-hoo! Yeah, boy, isn't it looking good? Yeah, let's get those magical twinkle. Yes, that's right, Richard Hart, somewhere in the world. Is he still in Europe? Is he in Russia? Is he in South America? Is he in Africa? I mean, I've heard all sorts of things about where Richard might be. But anyway, we got the Bitcoin price looking pretty good. Look, we're over the 50-day moving average, which is currently at $70,600. The 200-day is at $83,620. And guess what? We are looking very good here, aren't we? Very good over the 50-day here. Look at that, 4 days in a row. And we got what we wanted, a bit of a testing. Are we about to get a market maker coming in? Are we close? Well, I suggest if we've got the tax coming in on the 15th, we've got CPI this Friday, and we have continued pro de-escalation, let's say, in the Iranian conflict, and maybe some progress there with the, coming out of the weekend with some progress out of the meetings, then maybe we're going to get market maker comes back in, and we're going to get some pretty green candles and start heading towards this 200-day moving average of 83K. So kind of cool. The last previous high we had over the 50-day moving average was a 76,000. So keep a look at this. We are really looking to try and push out of this range. Not quite fully out yet, but certainly positive now over the 50. The 50 has come down, and we had our low back here of 60K back on the 6th of February here. So we're on the way up. So from the bottom there, we are up over the last 64 days, 20%. So looking very, very, very good there. So that is a Bitcoin looking really promising. Now, what is a big thing that's happening to drive this? Well, let's have a look. Stretch the iPhone moment of MicroStrategy, or Strategy as it's now called, Michael Saylor's little gem, the #1 digital asset treasury on Bitcoin, the second biggest institutional holder of Bitcoin, very soon to be the first. It will probably only be a few weeks from now, I suggest to you, unless, of course, IBIT suddenly ramps up their buying as well through the institutions, which is quite plausible. But we've got Stretch at the moment, 2,300 today, guys. Woohoo! Just think about that. $2,300. Sorry, 2,300 Bitcoin bought in one day. And this is vampiring the debt markets. That's the money markets, the bond markets, the credit markets. So yield between 2 and 4% for money market, bond market. A yield of maybe up to 8.5% for private credit markets. And now they're offering 11.5%. So they're vampiring that through yield differential, and it's a game changer, not just for large companies, but also for retirement. So if you want to pick up Stretch, you can have a huge yield. Instead of earning 1, 2, 3% at the bank, if you're lucky, you're earning 11.5%. OMG, right? 11.5%. So it's pretty exciting. Now, obviously, that moves around, but man, it is pretty exciting yield. If you're sitting in retirement and you're getting that sort of income, you can do so many more things, right? So there we go. Looking pretty good. $165 million raised just in one day. It's pretty crazy. Pretty stuff. This is an estimate, so it could very well be higher than this amount, right? Could very well be higher than this amount. So cool. Now, Stretch price is still $100. Remember, whenever it's over $100, that's when they can issue new Stretch shares and raise new capital. Use that capital to go buy Bitcoin, and that Bitcoin is accretive to the value of the strategy MicroStrategy price, or strategy price of MSTR, the common stock, right? So there's a preferred stock that's accretive. So it's a big deal here, but it's buying Bitcoin every day. Now let's have a look what it's bought so far in 4 days this week. It has bought, well, based on this, it's probably slightly higher, but it's bought 5,679 Bitcoin. I mean, just think about that. That's just in 4 days. And we got Friday coming up tonight. No doubt that's going to be another great printer. Pretty awesome. So Friday's the 10th. We've got Saturday the 11th, the 12th. We've still got at least 1 or 2 days next week, Monday, Tuesday, I think, for money printing as well. Now, if we look at the previous week, we can see that we also had 4,200. So we're looking over 10,000 Bitcoin bought so far through Stretch. These are fantastic numbers. And then we've also got 300 in the previous week, which was obviously when we had the most volatility around the Iranian conflict, and market was suppressed there. And if we go back even further to the previous week, this is when we had some pretty stellar numbers. Oh, it's actually not updating here at the moment, but it was pretty cool. So sometimes this here doesn't update all properly, but let's see what this one is. Yeah, it's not updating there, but this current week is looking pretty good. So we're well over 10,000, probably going to end up, over 12, 13,000. Well, let's see. We might, if we do another 2, 3, we could end up over probably, I don't know, let's say 2, 4, 6. We could end up about 17,000 Bitcoin just through Stretch. Let's think about that through the monthly cycle, because it goes ex-dividend, right? I think the 14th or 15th. So 14th, I think it is, and then 15th is the payment date, record date, I should say. And so, yeah, pretty exciting on that. Woohoo! It is huge, guys, huge. And of course, this would mean that they're less likely to issue MSTR stock, common stock, and because that can be dilutive, even though they're currently still at a premium, about 1.14 on the MNAV. But that is the place. So this is game changer. This is the iPhone moment. This is impacting structural play, but it's not just this amazing product, which is so far doing very well. We're expecting it to continue to ramp up as confidence and momentum builds. And if we do have the bottom of the crypto market on the 15th with the tax returns in the US, then it's just going to absolutely be absolute fire. The amount of capital it's going to be raising. And where Bitcoin will be going. Obviously, if Bitcoin goes higher, it gets less for the money raised, but it's probably going to raise a lot more money, is what I'm saying there. So that is pretty amazing. That was overnight. We obviously got the Bitcoin ETFs as well, another form of cash. So we've got the digital asset treasury, particularly strategy, with the Stretch preferred stock. And now we've got, obviously, the ETFs. We obviously had Morgan Stanley come out. They are now competing hardcore now with IBIT and BlackRock. They have laid down their hammer, because not only did they come in and just compete with the same sort of fees, they've come to undermine the fees for BlackRock. So they've decided they're going in all in, and they got 16,000 sales agents pretty much, at different times going to be shilling the old Bitcoin. So they're going big into Bitcoin, and we're going to see that ramp up, and tokenization, everything else. Can be truly glorious. So we're just starting to see some green again in the ETFs. In the ETFs here, and we're going to obviously it's a pretty good opening for Morgan Stanley. I think it was 444 Bitcoin. So they're just going to start ramping up as well. So keep a lookout for that. That is going to be something that's going to grow also. So exciting times, guys. And of course, we've got a little video here from Morgan Stanley, head of digital asset strategy, Amy Oldenburg. So we're going to have a listen to her briefly. It's about 30 seconds.
Terms of where the market is. But I have to tell you, in terms of the pickup we saw yesterday, the first day of trading, our best first day of trading for any of our ETFs since we've started the ETF product line a couple years ago. So I think that speaks to the demand that's still out there for the Bitcoin ETF. Almost 1.7 million shares traded yesterday, and at 12 o'clock today, we are already having another good day today. As you said, it's a nice week in the market, a nice day in the market for some pickup in Bitcoin and the markets to help us out there. And there's a nice terms of where the market.
So 2 good days. I've been trading 2 days, 2 good days. Amy's happy about it, and head of digital strategy. It's game on. It's game on. So we've got digital asset treasuries, we've got ETFs. We're going to ramping up, and then of course we're vampiring the debt market. Hundreds of trillions of dollars in the debt market, and a lot of it's going to start flowing into buying Bitcoin, and it's sort of self-fulfilling flywheel. The other thing I was going to say is I expect us to have a blow-off top again in the cycle ahead of us. So we obviously will still get cycles, because once people make a lot of money, they sell. There's always going to get sellers, and you get market manipulators and makers, and the perpetuals playing out and all sorts of stuff like that. But it's going to be a truly incredible 10-year cycle here. It's going to be absolutely fantastic for those that have got a longer horizon. But of course, I think there's a lot of money to be made trying to follow the top of this market before it rolls over, and then buy the bottom, roll over as a general uptrend over time. And it's going to be very aggressive, I think. So kind of cool stuff going on there. Very, very cool. That's going to get us to Ethereum. But before we get there, we've got Frank Whitehouse. Bang, bang. Pulse gang. Hey, good to see you, Frank White. Hope you're doing well. We've got Blair is in house as well. Hi, all. Good to see you, Blair. And Sean as well. Up only Chads, up only indeed. So there we go. That brings us to Ethereum. Now, if you guys haven't subscribed on YouTube, don't forget to smash the subscribe button. We're on the Crypto Night Show, Superman Crypto, and Pulse Chain X, 3 YouTube channels. Smash the subscribe button over there. And if you're on X, don't forget to go up and hit the follow button. Now, if you guys want to get all the intel as I'm researching, I post it in our strategy club. You got the QR code just below me there. You can hit that with your phone, and you will end up going to the Whoop store, a pretty popular platform for signing up to clubs. And you will end up getting a link to the Discord. So we look forward to seeing you in Strategy Club. And it's just over $1 a day to join up. If you want a general Discord membership, that's $12.50 a month, and you get access to our crypto helpline and our resources, and of course, just incredible bunch of people in our community, over 1,000 there. So join up today. All right, let's go. We've got Ethereum at the moment is currently looking at $2,195. But we've got a similar picture here over the 50-day for 4 days now. Testing that 50-day, we're at 2,157, and we've got the 200-day moving average at $2,680. Let's round it, and that's looking pretty promising here as well. We're also above this channel, got slightly higher lows, and we're really trying to push out here, just waiting for, I guess, either a slow grind into the next into the 15th, and then maybe the 15th after that we get a nice little pump, guys. And maybe some good news from the discussions over the weekend as well with a good CPI. So we've got CPI numbers Friday. We've got the Iranian talks, initial talks at least over the weekend. Hopefully we'll get something out of that in the weekend. And then, of course, the 15th there, we got the returns on US taxes. And that typically has given us a big uplift in crypto. So hopefully that flows quite nicely. And meanwhile, we got the digital asset treasuries buying up Bitcoin, issuing stretch preferred stocks to the debt markets, vampiring the debt markets. And of course, we've got now over on Ethereum, we've got Tom Lee with Bitmine Immersion, got a whole ton of cash, $850 million cash, buying up Ethereum off the bottom, right? Helping to form that bottom rotation. And it's looking very good. So, and of course, yesterday we covered Tom Lee calling the bottom in. We're going to follow up that. And when I think he says the bottom, he's talking about like the bottom little range, little range that we're in it right now. And so let's see how we go. We've got Craig in the house. Morning all. Good to see you, Craig. All right, so exciting times. Let's jump over to the Tom Lee stuff. So congratulations, Bitmine, so BMNR. So we talked about strategy, and now it's Bitmine. Bitmine is the biggest digital asset treasury on Ethereum this time. Now, if strategy is vampiring the debt markets to pump Bitcoin, well, Bitmine Immersion is vampiring all of finance. So finance is moving from traditional markets over to the blockchain. Ethereum is the chosen one. We already see that with the stablecoin issuance, with the tokenization, RWA, and of course with agents as well as creative payments. It's all coming to Ethereum. Very, very exciting there indeed. Now we've got congratulations, Bitmine from Tom Lee. He's the chair, of course. It's a big deal to uplist to the New York Stock Exchange big board. So they did that on the night. So the first day of trading on the big board, I should say, moving from the New York Stock Exchange American because that's kind of more speculative now. Bitmine, of course, moving up to the big board as a mid cap, but we know it's not going to be a mid cap for much long. It's going to end up rising through the ranks to the big boys as well on the big board. All right, so yeah, major milestone for Bitmine today. BMNR is uplisted to the big board, a hallowed and iconic exchange in the envy of capital markets around the world. So what will this do? This will do a lot for the company. It will open up more corporates and institutional appetite. It will raise more capital. It will add more volume to trading and potentially, and maybe even some index stuff as well. So very, very exciting about this. Obviously, Bitmine's going to be looking to get into as many indexes as it can. It's a question mark over the S&P 500, which is kind of the top of the line. MSCI could be another one, a more broader one that's definitely more plausible. I think there's about 1,700 stocks in MSCI, about 500 in the S&P 500. And I don't think, I think we've got a good chance. There's still S&P 500 still got they've still got an open mind about the digital asset treasuries, obviously around strategy and Bitmine Immersion. But I think inevitable, because they've kept an open door for that in January and they made a decision about that, then you keep a lookout for that, because strategy and Bitmine Immersion, two very good candidates that potentially could break ground there for crypto and get in the S&P 500. So keep a lookout for that. But certainly strategy would be up first for that. 5 times the valuation. So yeah, let's keep a look at that. But I think we're going to get a flippening in ETH, of course, to some degree, and of course at least a convergence in value, network value, and then we'll probably see that happen too. So keep a look out for that. But I still think we'll probably get in. Good chance we'll get in the MSCI probably by in this year. So that means we get index investment. You basically get force buying into the stocks. We saw that with Coinbase. Remember that? I think it was last year. Was it May, June? And of course, that they had a huge uplift in buying from the institutions that had to put it as part of their indexing, right? So that's like free big buying. So you're after that too, right? It also can mean selling later on too, though, right? It can mean selling later too if there's enough negative news. Depends on which part of the cycle you're in. Just take note. When things risk off, right, the leverage plays like on top of the underlying asset, Ethereum and Bitcoin, they always sell off quicker, right? So if you wonder why those charts look like that, they always sell off quicker because people de-risk that leverage. So good on the way up, not so good when you start seeing a bit of a chink in the armor, and then it suddenly sells down. So take note of that. All right, so there we go. Number 2, Bitmine also increased the buyback program from to 4 billion from 1 billion. Now, you guys know that for strategy and for Bitmine Immersion, for digital asset treasuries, the MNAV is king. And of course, your policies around MNAV are very important. Are you going to be accretive to value? Because obviously shareholders want you to be accretive. Bitmine has stated pretty clearly that they will only raise capital to be accretive and to create a shareholder value. So that's a big underpinning of the value proposition for Bitmine Immersion as the number 1 digital asset treasury. Regarding the stock buyback, is among the 10 largest announced also in 2026. In their future, there may be time for BMNR as trading below intrinsic value. The buyback enables the company to accretively acquire shares. And remember, at the moment, they've still got about 850 million in cash, unless, of course, they've probably been buying stuff this week. But that is something that's really good proposition there. So we're going to keep following that. This to protect and enhance shareholder value. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. So that was great news there from a Bitmine Immersion there. That's not saying that they will at any particular point, but they, during the year, they very well might do. Remember, at the moment, they're only worth about 11 billion. at the moment, obviously with the price of ETH. This is something that's just a great uplifting proposition for long-term value, that they will keep to certain principles about raising capital. So that's very, very bullish for that. Remember, these guys are going to go, Bitmine measures going far beyond the Ethereum. All right, they're looking to bring finance over, and that means institutional adoption as well as retail adoption with Mr. Beast Industries, and also mixing in the mix all the latest things around AI and digital ID and stuff like that. Some of those things we don't like, right, in DeFi, because it's can lead to control, particularly with OpenAI and Sam Altman, who's a very I'm going to be kind, questionable character at the best, right? So there we go. That is the play. All right, so let's jump over to Tom Lee's comments on the markets. Obviously, we've talked about the tax sitting in the bottom on the 15th here, and we're getting typically get a nice rise after that in the markets. So we're only a couple of days away with that. Tom Lee's got a broader understanding here. The broad skepticism towards equities is understandable. You can obviously flow this on into software and crypto. Many investors waiting for Iran war end before stocks bottom. Now, obviously, Tom's already made a great argument based on history that most of the issues with wars and stock markets, etc., are the first to the 10%. So if we had a 2-month war, it's the first 10% of that. And so that's already that pushes the market down, and then the market recovers after that, right? Because the worst is over, and if you get de-escalation and solutions and a deal done, then obviously it continues to push up the markets as well. Many investors wait for the Iran war to end stocks, which is you're too late by the time you've done that, right? You're too late. The market's already gone up against you typically, so you've got to be very careful with that. But look at the 7 major US wars in the past 125 years. Equity markets bottom in the first 10% of the war when there is little visibility. Key stuff there, little visibility there. And of course the market's got all these scenarios going, oh, what's all these terrible scenarios that could play out? And then as time goes on, they sort of whittle away the certain scenarios because they're getting information is changing. You're getting a clearer view. Visibility is becoming better, and you kind of have which scenario, and the markets can recover, generally speaking, unless, of course, you end up in a world war, which is quite a different thing. But that's going to be a much longer time horizon. So 10% of a longer time horizon is going to be a lot longer than a couple of weeks. Or a week at least. It could be months, right? It could be months. Even World War II, the Dow DIA bottomed 5 months into the war of a 4-year war. So it gives you an idea there of a long war, 4 years, 5 months, right? That's a much longer. But we're not looking at that here. We're obviously been typically looking at a 6-week war under Trump's targets. And if he had needed extra time, you're talking about 2 months or something, a bit extra there. But of course, there are a lot of other factors in play that we talked about earlier. Wars. So we've got the wars here. We've got the World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, Gulf War, war in Afghanistan, and the Iraq War. We've got the duration there of the war there and number of months from start to bottom as well. So months to the bottom there. So it's got the percentage there as well. World War II, 10%, of course. We've got 10%, 5%. So in a few exceptions. World War I's a little bit different because of the way the war went. And we've got the Gulf War there too, 33%. So those are some of the plays there. And we've got the Iran War showing up here at the moment. So we've got the average here at 98 months. The number of months from start to bottom, 7 there, and that's about 15%. So the median is 10%. So the first 10% of the war in that place. So that was pretty interesting. What else we got there? We've also got below is the Dow from 940, 946. US enters the war on December the 8th, 941. Dow bottoms May 942. 5 months later, the intensity of the war rose from the next 3 years, Battle of Midway and D-Day in 42 and 44, in 1944 that is. The DIA bottomed 25 months before US had troops on the ground committed to Europe. So there we go. And you got obviously D-Day there, market rallied. You got the Battle of Midway, market rallied, etc. The bottom was in. US enters the war there, came down. So you got that initial 10% kind of playing out, and then just continue to rally there in the DIA. So the market's just rallying there. Some pretty good stuff. Number 3, the bottom line. We are still in the fog of war. Obviously, we're going to get a better idea over the weekend with the negotiations. This doesn't mean stocks have to keep falling. And there we go. So that was a nice little commentary there and has seemed to have played out, right? So that's played out so far. So Tom making a good call there with their research. And that leads us into some bigger stuff around clarity coming up. because not only we have got the 15th of April with the tax returns, we've got CPI this Friday, we've got the Iranian progress in the ceasefire of 2 weeks, and we've also got the Clarity Act, right, which is just ginormous for the US and all the institutions finally having that overarching regulation around the SEC, the FDIC, and of course the securities and commodities and all that stuff. So that is stuff we're looking forward to, and so we've got an update for that too. Hex Down Under, morning, sir. Good morning to you. Yeah, got me another massive bag of PDI, says Hex Down Under. Hey, look, I mean, you know, I'm not a big fan of PDI, but what I will say is that PDI is one of our Titan volumes on Pulse Chain. What I mean by that 24-hour volume is it's one of the ones. My Titans, this is my definition, so you know it's my thing. But you know, projects that are doing over 100K on Pulse Chain, and since we only have low volume, about 3.5 million lately a day, you know, excluding the balances. So let's just argue 3.5 to 4 million. You know, PDI is normally doing about 200K, I think. So you know, it's still one of our bigger volumes here. So that, and it also still has a pretty hardcore community, and of course a lot of influencers that support it there. Some of our biggest ones. But I myself not a big fan. But you know, and we'll see. It's certainly got the volume, so you can't deny the facts, right? The facts are there. All right, so let's have a look here. We've got Treasury Scott Bessent in the House. Now, he says Congress has spent the better part of half a decade trying to pass a framework to onshore the future of finance. As we all know, all the innovation is in blockchain and crypto, and particularly DeFi, which is where Pulse Chain resides and flourishes. It is time for, when I talk about flourishing, all the DeFi flourishing, the prices will hopefully follow at some stage. It is time for banking GOP to hold a markup and send the Clarity Act to the President Trump's desk. Senate time is precious. Now is the time to act. So obviously, we're looking for write-ups in April here. Obviously, this has been deferred. Hopefully, we'll get a write-up here and get this to the President's desk by the 21st of May. So if we have the tax returns on the 15th, we get a nice little recovery there, and hopefully we continue momentum in the second towards the end of April and get the write-ups done, and then we can hopefully go through the process of the Senate and the House to get this through to the President's desk by May and get that done. That would be a huge win for America, a huge win for all of us, and a huge win for the markets. We've got to get this done. May really is the key time there, because you know we're getting up towards the midterms in November, and there's a lot of things shut down, everything else. So it's got to be really done. We're kind of in that last mile. It's supposed to be done like August, September last year, I think it was. So we've already had a couple of delays. January was a disappointment. So here we are in April, May. We do have some promising movements at the moment. I think it's around about 60% probability. So it's not particularly high, but let's fingers crossed we get there in the end. All right, so that is the Clarity Act. We'll keep track of that, but it's great to see the White House support it. White House came out with a big thing about the bankers' yield, saying it really doesn't affect too much. And of course, now we've got Treasury Scott Bessent coming out as well, saying let's get it done. So hopefully we do get the cost line. It's a huge deal overall, opening the floodgates of the crypto. Now, it won't necessarily be straight away, but the market might price that in, and we'll see what happens. It's a big deal. You would think, arguably, if it's taken such a tough time to get done, that the market would price that in. So, hey, that's great. Let's future price some of that. We'll see. All right, so let's jump over to Pulse Chain. We're 44 minutes on the hour. Let's say 45 minutes on the hour. And we've gone through a lot of alpha stuff today. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Let's get to Pulse Chain. Pulse Chain, of course, is a full system stake fork of Ethereum based on the 10th of May 2023. It launched a couple of days later on the 13th of May 2023 as a giant airdrop, essentially. And then, of course, we had to find out price discovery on the not long after the launch on the 31st of July 20. That's what's happening when you're looking at the war stuff. 2023, we had the SEC, take Pulse Chain, PulseX, and Hex to court, along with Richard Hart, the founder. It was pretty crazy, but crazy Democrats in the old SEC there at the time. And it was some intern, because that was honestly the case against Richard and the Pulse Chain, etc., was so badly written. it looked like it was written by an undergrad that was struggling to understand anything. But anyway, so it was pretty bad. And then, of course, Richard spent the next 2 years fighting with an A team of lawyers and smashing them. Truly the first time the SEC had been beaten once and for all. And of course, then by that time, we got a change in the regime anyway, pro crypto Trump in the White House. But it was won. It was won. So we got nice case law there. Now that happened after 2 years on the 7th of July, 2025. They were beaten once and for all. And since that time, we've had a big downtrend in the chart. What the hell? We had a big downtrend in the chart. See what? Yeah, let's have a look at the pulse chain chart because we had a big downtrend, and it's been pretty brutal, even after being the SEC. Even after being the SEC. So let's have a look at the monthly chart here on the old pulse chain, and you can see that it's been pretty brutal. So this green candle was when we bet the SEC here. So we had a nice recovery rally, and then we got smashed every single month afterwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So people saw their portfolios get absolutely dashed. And obviously, we've had a lot of specific things on the old pulse chain, but we've been down about 85%. And it seems like pulse chain's used to the world of down 85%. And so it's just been what it is. Our high was back here on March the 1st. Of course, before 24, we had a nice little rally here, but it's down pretty dramatically, 95% from there as well. So everyone's used to 85, 95%. So if you're still here, maybe you're the diamond hand. Maybe you're the diamond hand. Maybe you're the one that's going to get rewarded. Richard does like shaking out of people, whether it takes us several years. He's there for the long term. He's a long-term player. And so, yeah, let's. If you're still here, you survived. If you were a year ago, maybe you didn't so much, but you may have got out at higher prices, but you are still here. So are we about to get the turning point? As I've mentioned, the big things happening, 15th of April. Tom DeMarks called all who played out. We've only got de-escalation. We've got the CPI coming in. We've got the digital asset treasuries, the ETFs all coming in, the banks coming in. It's a big play. Everyone's positioning for the future of finance and on the blockchain. And so are we at the bottom? Looks promising. So let's see where we can go this month. Are we going to break the month of April and end up with a green month, and then up we go? Now, as you guys know, Ethereum does a V recovery. So we do hit that bottom on the 15th. V recovery from here is on the back of ETH. Could be very, very good indeed. And of course, that means that Richard Hart's sacrifice ETH, also that 171,000 ETH, gets re-rated. And of course, we get up to 5,000. That's huge. If we get up to 10,000, it's at about 1.7 billion or something dollars. So you just scrape a little bit of it off that, you can pump Pulse Chain to the moon. Let's see where this all leads. And of course, we've got some amazing teams like LibertySwap are building out some incredible things, looking to increase the liquidity flows and revenue flows there as well. So we've got lots of cool stuff happening on that front with LibertySwap there. So we've got 65 at the moment on the market cap, 65 mil on the DEX screener. So we'll keep a lookout for this. Now, on the daily here, just quickly, we've got the 21 moving average on the daily on Pulse at 50.7800. We're now at 50.75, so that we could quickly get over that, and let's hope we have some fun for that. The RSI there, sorry, not the RSI, we're already over the 21 4-hour at the moment, so we're looking pretty strong there on the weekly. So take a slightly longer time frame. We've got the 21 moving average at 1390, so we lose a zero. So we've got a bit of work to do that, and that will be naturally, I think, the next target up the top there. Excluding Fibonacci, is probably pretty close to use Fibonacci, but that's 88% from here. So, and I think we've got the right conditions for it right now, guys. We've had a lot of the flawed contracts with the maker and the compound, etc. Crypto Solve suggests that we shouldn't get too many more issues from any of those. We've had a lot of the sacrifice guys sell. We're way below prices, even for the Hexagon guys. So it's a very good chance we're getting into a place where we're rounding off the bottom, and we can move up with the rest of the market as it finds the bottom and recovery by next week. So next week, I think, could be the ultimate there, and we could actually have some more appreciation like we have seen since the beginning of the war. ETH and Bitcoin have been the best performers, so we'll keep looking out for Pulse Chain being able to move up ahead too. So fingers crossed that all play. Everything I just said, it plays out, and we have no more black swan events, and we've only got white swan events. And we're going to talk about some of the white swan events today. So let's do that. All right. So let's jump over to the results at the moment. So we've got Pulse at the moment at 5075, up 2.65%. I'm just going to refresh this though, just to make sure it's got the latest and greatest. We got 5075 up 2.6%. So a little baby green day at the moment off the bottom. PulseX at the moment is at 50596, up 2.9%. Wow, that is so cheap, isn't it, right now? So if this is the bottom range over the next week, wow, we could get some pretty exciting gains off this. Now, obviously, we're still going to have to go through ebbs and flows on Pulse Chain because, Pulse Chain, we get a 2-3x and everyone's got to take profits, for goodness sake, and off we go, right? We've got to go through that. This is reality as we move. But we may very well get a market maker come in as well, try and do another candle off the bottom. Is that going to be? Have we got rid of enough people that we're going to be able to hold at least 50% of that gold mode candle? Those are the questions in the future, right? So we'll find out. Ink token at the moment 34 cents, up 2.75% at the moment, and we've got Hex at the moment at 1400 of a penny, up 0.75% as well. EHEX at the moment 6300 of a penny. Combined price of X and PX back over 0.2 of a penny, up slightly from yesterday. Those are the majors there. Now, I don't really see a use case outside third-party, dApps for Ink, but there are some key players holding Ink. I don't know whether they try to massage the chart a bit, but PulseX certainly has a lot of value right now, and Hex there as well. Now, just on saying that though, of course, Ink and Hex got much smaller liquidity relative to Pulse and PulseX slightly, but I still don't see. I see most of the value. PulseX looking pretty cool. I also think that there is Pulse is even though it shows slightly inflationary using ERP 159, I think that is actually deflationary as well. So we might break that down too. So that's probably, I don't know if anyone else has said that, but we might come into that, talk about that on another stream, and hopefully the tokenomics are correct. So I think that is looking good. All right, so let's go to the gas prices. We got 700,000 beats, slightly higher than yesterday. 0.2 of a penny for a PulseX swap right now. Validators at the moment is at 50,459, pretty similar to what we've had since we got rid of a couple of large ones over a couple weeks ago. We are almost back at 70 mil, 69.9 million. And of course, we've got ETH and Bitcoin in there helping to lift that a little bit there. So there we go. In fact, what I might do now, guys, is take a snapshot of the bridge values here, and we'll check what it looks like in a week's time, since we're expecting to get a bit of a bounce through that, all things equal, over the next week, right? If we get the bottom is in, let's see where this goes and whether we get capital flow coming over into the chain. Now, let's talk about, we had a negative capital out overnight. I think it was about 250,000, if I remember rightly. So we have been watching pulse alerts with those capital flows. Let's jump over to the chain. Yeah, look at the volume right now. So we're on a weekday and we're doing 2.8 million. Pretty pathetic, right? Pretty pathetic. We've got the 20. This is bottom volumes, right? Bottom volumes. We've got 24 hours at 211,000. Yesterday we're doing 250,000, right? We did 3.3 million yesterday in volume and 250,000 in 24-hour volumes, and so forth. So let's see the best performer. Interesting enough, Mafia Coin Mafia is up 92%. This is Rack and Jen Rochelle here, and Coin Mafia is up. There's a coin launching site, of course, multi-chain. It has been pumped with a bit of volume there, so it looks like a bit of a market maker coming in there, and went from 28 cents to 65 cents. So a big day in the office there for Coin Mafia. So wow. Let's go to the X account and see what they've got to say for themselves. As I was talking about them yesterday, remember that? I was talking about them, and of course talking about Coinwell coming up. So we don't see Coinwell on a lot of their stuff now at the moment. They've obviously taken it off, arguably for the market sentiment and timing, right? So there we go. Have you picked the right family, Mafia? Obviously got Coin Mafia in the house there. We got Rackham AI there coming in, and so on. I think he's become a bit of an expert in AI videos now. Is the old Rackham. We got is Orange. Is this his one? Is this his new one? Maybe it is his new one. Got his orange. What is that? Is that a Lambo or a Ducati or something? I guess it's. No, let me know in the chat there if you guys know what that car is. Making some loud noises there, but it's got that. So there's a new one there. What else? We got a few other things going on. I'm just going to scroll through to see what's been going on. 7th of April here. Okay, so there we go. That's on. Now, what day is it? Let me just check, guys. I'm going to do something checking. Just give me a moment. All right, so by my accounts, the Coin Mafia VIP list should start to get random airdrops for their tokens from Monday if he's still doing that approach, which was the initial approach. So yeah, let's see what happens there, because that would mean that people start getting their coins randomly. Apparently, I think there's a list of about 600-700. So we'll keep a lookout for that. I haven't kept up with all that stuff, so could be old news, but that was the initial intention over 90 days. Remember, lockdown for the VIP list, so we'll keep lookout for that too. That's on Monday. So we're getting a bit of a pump ahead of that. All right. I don't see any other particular news around that. I know that Jen Rochelle, isn't it? Jen Rochelle, let's have a look. And she's the CEO. What do I got here? Still got on that? Yeah, I think so. Coin Mafia, yeah. I know she's changed the whole thing here. So she had all the old things here. So I'm not sure. They've obviously taken a different approach right now, but they're still pushing the Mafia very, very singularity there, the singularity. What else? Coin Mafia there. We've got Coin Mafia itself. Let's go to that. Let's see what else they got going on here. AI agents, yeah, they've got a lot of promo stuff here. Nothing specific. So definitely getting pumped big time today, though. Number one performer. Keep a lookout for that. Monday technically is the VIP list starting. It's just I don't know how many they're going to be doing, what day, and all that. Assuming it's all the same. Let me know if anyone's in that community. Let me know if anything has changed with that. But that was my understanding. What else? We've got Pew Pew. Pew Pew. Pew Pew at the moment is number 2. I've been around for about 8 months. That is up 17%. I don't really follow Pew Pew too much, but that is looking pretty good on the weekly chart there. Don't know the security around it. Seems to be okay on the quick intel. Once again, you always got to do your own due diligence there. What else? I'm just looking through some of these. Pew Pew rewards holders, Pew Pew polls on USDC. I'm not sure how they do that, but that is Pew Pew. Let's go have a quick look at the website. Not endorsing any of these, remember. We're just having a quick nosy. You always got to be careful because, just what it is. Pew Pew's been around for a while, but still. So it's got dual game, farm game, Pew Pew Arcade, so a few GameFis there, and some Vault, some DeFi stuff. So there we go. We might have once I do a bit of due diligence on that, we'll have a look at that. But I was just having a quick look. But so far, it's pretty good. Let's look at the pulse ratio a bit. That's insane. Yeah, look at that. It's pretty violent, though, too. Pretty violent. Hold on. That's the weekly candles, by the way. The daily candles, it's a bit like that. So that's a wild ride, isn't it? That's a damn wild ride. You got to be a real cowboy or cowgirl to jump on that thing. You jump on the thing. All right, but that's still doing well. Still doing well. Up 16%. Now, True Farm. This is from True DeFi. We've talked about these guys a lot because they're doing a lot of great things on Pulse Chain. They're kind of like our managed fund on Pulse Chain. Like, if you want something like that, kind of managed fund, hedge funds type thing. And they have they start off with a 2x Pulse miner. So you put your Pulse in. They're going to try and get you a 2x in your volume. They've already done that to a lot of people. Have already got the 2x miners. There's a bit of a strategy around the auctions, I believe, in the shares. How to do that in compound. This is a bit of stuff to play around there. But they've done pretty well. They then launched True Farm, which is a pretty much a fork of Emmet Farm. They have single-sided staking earning EDI. They have a lot of LP pools with high yields as well, like Emmet Farm, and they have been pushing a lot of those profits back into the 2x miner and getting people with their 2x pulse and things like that. So it's been a lot of stuff, and they're looking to, believe, to just expand their DeFi ecosystem as well. So they also have big investment. They have a big investment. I keep calling it, what do I call it? SRE, but I think it's RSE. I think it's RSE the other way around. It's RSE there. Neil tries to correct me on this, but I forget about it sometimes, most of the time. But RSE, I think it is, their big investment fund, and they control like Emmet Farm, single side stake. Like when I say control, they have a cornerstone position like 25, 26%, and they earn EDI, and that funnels back into the 2x miner and things like that. So pretty cool idea. I would really I want to get an update with Neil about the breadth of their investing at the moment, because that kind of really intrigues me. It's something like this. You could become, like a Berkshire Hathaway. You kind of start taking over everything, all the quality stuff. We're not talking about the risky stuff, but all the stuff that's earning incomes. And you could start taking them one by one and getting cornerstone positions and all those. That'd be pretty hilarious. You become like an OA, but then you're feeding it back into the true DeFi miner. So that's kind of it's kind of thing. Now, so far, I have seen comments from Daniel from the team talking about that they're well ahead of their expectations of their performance. So that's going to be interesting. So at the moment, they've got pumped pretty nicely overnight as number 3, and you can see the US dollar price there gone up as well. So they're now gone up from 74 cents. Essentially, they went to 88. Now 84 cents there, so looking pretty good there. And volumes are still ticking over quite nicely. So not bad there with the old True DeFi. I've got that on weekly candles now, so switched it from daily to weekly. Kind of see the view there. So they come off the bottom at 70 cents and back up there, looking pretty good. And of course, they've got really cool yields, high yields on their farms. So kind of cool. All right. Yeah, I really want to get. Come on, Neil. I talked to Neil yesterday on the live stream, and he said he was going to come in. So we'll try and get that because I've got quite a few questions to ask him. Quite a few there. We got 190% there on the APR. Remember, I did interview the team before they launched, and I haven't interviewed them since they've been launched, and it's about 3 months now, isn't it? Coming on 3 months, I think, since they've been out, and they've done a lot of stuff in that time. So kind of cool to have that kind of offering on Pulse Chain, and the team seems to be pretty good. Like some of the most, pretty reputable dudes in the old Pulse Chain community. All right, so let's jump back out of their True Farm. So Rhino, another great team, doing very innovative tokenomics. They've tied into not only ProveX but PCock. Smart teams do that, right? Get into these underlying kingpin tokens, and they're up 13% right now. And they're Rhinify. Let's quickly have a nosy at the website and have a look at their. I've really been enjoying seeing better teams at the top here. Remember for some time we were seeing all the pump and dump coins and pump tire, pump and dumpers and stuff like that. But really, we've been starting to see the better quality projects at the top of the trending, and I really like that. I think, man, if people in Pulse Chain want to stop moaning, then start investing in the better stuff. That's generally comment there, and it's really cool to see that. So this is the weekly. This is a new because it's only a couple of weeks old because they're ProveX, right? But it's looking pretty good. So they're up against ProveX there and looking nice. Let's go look at the ProveX ratio. I guess we'll good there. Look at that, 3.7. So Rhino looking real good there. Let's go have a quick look at their website though. Actually, I'm already opened the dApp, didn't I? Already opened it, and we're into the dashboard here. So they've got a countdown every 28 days. They have a countdown, and we've got to go charge cycles here. Oh my gosh, they're already on charge cycle 10. So each charge cycle is 28 days. They're on charge cycle 10. The charging balance is 275 million pulse, and this cycle will end in 4 days and 14 hours, and then it will transfer some of that value over to the buy and burn. And at the moment, the Rhino buy and burn balance is $800. It's got 107 million pulse in it, so they're going to top that up basically, and then it will start buying and burning again. That's how the treasury works. And they have a tax, right? They have a tax on the old Rhinify. So a really cool a treasury type of project, definitely, and a fantastic team. And the team's fantastic with Derek and the team, and that is ticking away quite nicely there. Kind of cool. And they tied into the some of the key ones, so looking good on that one. So a big shout out to the Rhinify team. DevC coin up 13% right now. Let's have a quick look at that. Sometimes it's been up, sometimes it's been down. Definitely up the last couple of days. And the pulse ratio, that's the one we really want to watch. We'll go to we're on weekly candles for the pulse, and it's bouncing off 61. We're at 68 right now. Not at the bottom, but sort of in the almost mid-range, isn't it? Almost mid-range of where it's been. So ticking away there is the old DevC. True Farm, another peer here. Liquid Loans has been raising its head every so often, isn't it? It's up 8.5%. Our third biggest sacrifice project, remember, $52 million. They launched the Fetched Oracle. They launched was it Pulse Chains multi-sig wallet? I always forget the name of it, but that's out there too. Let me know in the chat if you guys remember. Was it? It's got some funny name, some name like that. And so yeah, that's ticking away. So what do we got in the chart there? That's the chart. So it's pretty down on the weekly. There's a weekly chart, and let's look at the last couple of days actually. Coming off the bottom, had a wick down here. Look at that, wick down to far out 6 zeros 1,000 exactly. Now we're at 6 zeros 1942. So we're almost at another zero, almost 7 zeros. Oh my god! Anyway, we're back up at 1942. Liquidity is so small, 33,000. Yet they got 52 million in the raise. Let's say they spent, I don't know. Let's say they spent, I don't know. What do you reckon? 5 mil. Let's say they spent 10 mil on development. you know, marketing. They did a lot of marketing, right? So they hired people and stuff. So they're still 45 mil. They probably make 46, 47 mil, let's say, and they're earning interest over the years. So you know, they've got a lot of cash. So let's see what happens there. Anyway, they could throw a little bit of love here at this DeFi world, and afterwards we'll see. All right, so that is liquid loans, our third biggest sacrifice and our biggest liquidity fork at the moment. But Fast Abdul says not for long with good old Vault 369 coming. World's greatest PDI printer from OG WebChef up 6.8%. Number 9, and then number 10 we got ProveX in the middle. So ProveX here, the top 10. We took ages just to get through the top 10 today, but it was well worth it because we've got a lot of quality teams in there. ProveX at the moment is up nicely, number 10 here. And that is up 6.5%. So we're going to go to the USDC pair, the biggest liquidity, back at 1 million, down here at number 15. Let's jump into this and see where this is going. I might do an updated post on this, but you can see everything's been playing out. I've essentially called this correctly all the time. There was only one time that I got close to being wrong when it was sitting on the 21 moving average here, but that ended up playing out. So that was kind of cool. And so far, so good, right? So far, so good. You guys know the next target is, because we defended the 21 here on the 4-hour, next target is 91 to 9,300. 91 to 9,300 on this target here. We have got to cool off a little bit on the 4-hourly. We've got a bit of room to move there. So this is not necessary. This is on the daily, really, that we're expecting that. And if we go to the daily chart, we can see that we have got to get above this 21 moving average right now to confirm, kind of get some confirmation for that. And we've got the RSI all the way down at 56. So it's definitely looking plausible, maybe by next week. So that is kind of the 21, 2,300 range at the moment. Kind of cool. And, the best sacrifice team is down at 3,200, as I understand it, for the for the ProveX pool from Bunker Mentals. So that would suggest that the best guys have got, 135% in that at the moment. And they're not selling because a lot of those guys, someone want, 3, 4x, someone want 10x, someone, so there's all sorts of people there with different expectations there. All right, so that is some of the stuff there with the old ProveX from Richard Hart, and that's still in beta, as I understand, ticking away. What else is in the mix here? Well, we've got Pulse Guy, and they've been up to stuff with PCock. They're up 6% today. Let's have a quick look at them. We got 3 zeros, 1,500 now in the US on the daily. Let's go look at the PCock ratio, though, and that is up nicely. So Pulse Guy doing very well as part of we had a trifecta, but we're calling it the quadfecta now. Quadfecta with the Pulse Guy, and they've been launching a few things. Let's go to their X account and just refresh ourselves what it was. But they got reposted by LibertySwap, didn't they? So there we go. They've been doing their own thing. Hopefully we'll have a few things here. Yeah, they've been doing some videos here. Look at us, the old PCock video. Seems we're still standing stronger than ever. So you can go watch that video if you want. What else there? They had something that they did the other day. Just trying to remember what it was. This is what happens when you start looking for stuff that you're not really prepared to look at. Oh yeah, they had their trading bot feature. Remember that? And they were the first adopters, as far as I know, for the SDK API for LibertySwap. So you can now bridge USDC in directly from Ethereum-based BSC, Arbitrum, and Polygon to your trading bot in seconds. So really, the Pulse guy's taken over from from Firewhale, and remember his trading app that he had for Firewhale. So what was the ticker? I've forgotten. But they've taken over from that already, and now you can do trading super fast and bridge in money, which is a game changer, right? Remember that Telegram has 1 billion users a month, so it's it's great to have exposure there. You still got to get your word out there, and it still is quite the Wild West, as you guys know. But it's kind of cool. All right, so that is from Pulse Guy. So not bad. They're doing well against if you love your PCock, doing well there. What else do we got? Liberty at number 11, up 6%. Let's have a quick look at Liberty because I haven't really looked at it too much. Yeah, I think a declaration of principle. What are they saying? Liquidity. They got Liquid Liberty Protocol and Liquidity Market on Pulse Chain. Finite supply 21 million, holding liquidity supports development. So I haven't really looked into this too much. That is the daily chart. So just coming off the bottom there. Let's have a look at the pulse ratio though, and we can see the last 2 days that's been rising. 473 seems to have bottomed out at about 422. and what's the highs way back? Highs way back at the beginning. So there we go. Let's look at that. So we're going to get out of there. I don't know what's happening with there. But we've got coming up here, we've got PCock, a small pair. We've got Zero. So we've got some of the PCock trifectas here. Zero Trust as well, up 4.5%. Reserve Tay from James Maria, up 4%. Emmett Farm. So we talked about True Farm earlier. Kairos and Emmett Farm here, up at $1.16. So looking pretty good there too for the old Emmett Farm. Let's have a quick look at the price. They're holding up pretty nicely there at $1.16, and the pulse ratio there, let's look at that, looking real strong. Look at that, 155,000 per Emmett. Keep up the good work there, Kairos, and of course the farm there, the leading farm, I would argue, overall, along with True Farm, obviously a fork there, but this has all the pools. It's been around for over a year, well over, I think, $120,000 in eDICE rewards through the eDICE single staking, and all the popular farms you could ever imagine. High APRs everywhere, obviously relative to the rewards and the TVL in each of them. And remember, impermanent loss issues that you have to also consider. But the high APRs are fantastic all across the board there. Look at them all. Heaps of cool projects in there. Right, so that is pretty good. Looking pretty good there, the old Emmets. What else? We got PCock, the main pool. It's the second main pool. Sitting at 1.3 cents right now. I think we've got a little updates of PCock, so we're going to talk about that. Zendog as well. So Zendog there, PCock, Zero, and the Pulse guy. That is the quadfecta, what I'm calling the quadfecta there. Let me know if you think. Well, it's a trifecta, but I added in. I added one. What else we got going down here? We're up all the way down at all the way down here. We've got Teddy Bear at 28, up 3.5%. Curve, a token here, which is the real estate one, right, is up 3%. Doubt token is up 3% here, one of our top memes. Unity from Cryptographics is up 3%. Recently applied for CoinMarketCap listing for both Unity and Taurus. I don't think they've done anything around the Cloudware staking yet, have they? They talked about it months ago. We had Cryptographics on about that, but I'm not sure if anything's happened with that. I'll have to double check. Vouch. Now, Vouch is up 2.5%. Our biggest public validator, where you can go and put your pulse in, your V-Pulse, and now they've got new staking pools. I think 3 in their flywheel. We're hoping to get Jexa on the show, so I've reached out to the Vouch team to get an interview with Jexa on that. He's one of the very smartest guys in the pulse chain community, and done a great job with Vouch there. What else do we got? The P Tiger, Crypto Tiger God, up 1.7% right now. ZKP, another Kairos project. Kairos is everywhere. Right? Kairos is everywhere. It's doing an amazing job. And Zero Knowledge Proof, early first mover on ProveX. Let's have a look at that and see how that's ticking away. Look at that. 000444. Got some diamond hand holders in the whales groups at the moment. And it's turning over decent volume. I think if it keeps around 5K or more, it's probably doing okay or doing nice yields. Remember, it's a reflection token, 5%. You buy ZKP, stake it, and then you earn ProveX. Now remember, with these taxes, these taxes will have a buy and sell tax, but here's the trick: they have transfer taxes often. So you do need to check whether they have applied the transfer tax as well. I have heard of people moving tokens for whatever reasons and losing 5% of their tokens. So remember that with reflection tokens, you must check. See if they've also included transferring wallets. So be careful out there. So people it's one way of getting annoyed real quick. Right, because you're trying to make crypto, you're not trying to lose it, right? So there we go. That's pretty much it. 9mm exchange, which has been doing quite well recently, up about 1.7%. Top hat there from Crypto Coffee, up 1.66, tied in the PCock as well. A lot of liquidity there. PTC the Greys coming in the mix here with Stake Teeth, a couple of pairs there, up 1.5%. Swarm up there 1.4. What else there? Pump Tires itself, number 66 is Pump Tires at 1.3%. Most Wanted, another top meme coin, up almost 1% there. And there we go. So that is pretty much it. Let's scroll down here. PTC, a couple of pairs coming in, up slightly today. Still at 0001 on the old, some of them are a bit higher on the old, maybe 0011 on the old PTC, our first DAO token. Mostly bullish on that. Obviously that's a blue chip. It's got obviously Pierre Bernard does an amazing job at leading that project in terms of influencer support. And what else we got going down here? So everything else, we've got 81 out of 100 are still green US dollars, but the rest of them, these are in the red. So we've got quite a few PDC pairs in the red, Investor in the red, Stacks in the red, SCADA from Net to Supply down slightly today, 2.3%. These are not big down days, but just modestly down. Sun Mini has broken down definitely. That was at 5.5 cents. Remember how near it's now at 4.7. It's down 3.4%. So have a quick look at that. Remember, this is supposed to be going over to Solana. They have massive amounts of buy and burn value. I suggest to you it's probably in excess of 20 million by now, my guess. I have to go and do some maths on it, but yeah. I need to do an update on this, but they were supposed to go to Solana, so I stopped sort of caring. Obviously, it's a good buy if they're going to Solana. You could follow them over, but they're still here. They're still here from the looks of it. So, but they're not using their buy and burn, right? If they were using their buy and burn, this chart wouldn't look like this. But they've got lots of big free bags from a lot of the reward programs and stuff, and we saw that play out too, didn't we? In some of these red candle charts, these guys almost like they knew. These guys knew, right? These guys knew. I don't know whether they were large pulse chain influence or pulse chain personalities. I'm not going to name names. I could name a few names, but they definitely these wallets that were in here, particularly top tier. I think they were page one wallets, and they pretty much they sold down on this stuff. They're kind of almost like they knew stuff. Now the chart was rolling over a bit up here at 14 cents, but it just felt like they knew and they took all the money out there. But the buy and burn really hasn't been operating very much. So in fact, let's have a quick look and see whether it's been here operating. I'm just going to do a quick sort of spot check here. Arguably, this might have been this 7.5 might have been part of it, but that's kind of what you normally look at. Is you get a like 11,000 of what they typically were used to doing. I'm not sure whether that's the same program. There's a website that has this, an Excel spreadsheet that does track this. I think I have it saved, so I might go check that too, see whether that's been showing activity. But that is Sun Minimal. The sad thing about that is that was one of the major ways we could have had new fresh capital in the tens of millions coming out of in a year coming to Pulse Chain, also opening us up to institutional equity as well from Europe through Floyn market. But Floyn, I think, was the one that was kind of advising Sun Minimal to go to Solana. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But that is it. We've got Smorg up down 3.8%. Sava rewards from one of our more recent farms down 5%. I haven't really covered their farm much, have I? But they're down. Let's go have a quick look. I'm not endorsing anything, of course, but we'll have a quick look at the website and see what's going on there. Not endorsing this. Remember, do your own due diligence, all that good stuff. It's been a long time since I've been on here, the Sava app. Hopefully I remember that's whatever it's doing. What else? Yeah, I don't even know. It's got all this other stuff in here, but yeah, I'm not even sure what it does. It's been, like I say, I don't really know it too well. So there we go. That's down. Reward token is pretty much down. So down market here. Let's look at the weekly candles. Yeah, pretty much getting close there. Still got 36K liquidity in it. That is the price in US dollars there to 2200th of a penny right now. So that is pretty much it on the markets. Let's go to the news. So on the Pulse Chain. So we are waiting for some good stuff. We've got Fat Sammy in the house. Hi, all. Good to see Fat Sammy. And a great Pulse Chain influence out there. And, of course, Pulse Bitcoin doing pretty well. Maybe I should pull that up. Have we got time? An hour 19. We might have enough time for that. Maybe Fat Sammy, hit me up to come on the show and give us an update of everything Pulse Bitcoin. That'd be kind of cool. Let us know if that suits. Why does the Tripper have so much? Why does the Tripper have so much liquidity? Well, that would be James Maria, right? It's got lots of bags of ETH and all that. So that's probably why. All right, so we've got some big news here. We've got some big news with LibertySwap, the wallet, right? So this came out just after my live stream, like just after the live stream. In fact, maybe it was there at the live stream, but I didn't refresh, which is probably the case. But LibertySwap here, we've finalized the ZKX wallet code base and are currently putting together a temporary website, ZKXwallet.com. Now, I did try to cover this yesterday. It didn't work out very well because I had lots of issues with silly things. It was crazy. The code has submitted to the app stores. It will launch first as a browser extension with full multi-device support coming later in later iterations. So now, This could launch any day in April, as I understand it. Like go live. So that could be pretty cool. And the website I went through on video, but I did delete my post because it was a bit of a dog's breakfast. But we got the UI there, looking pretty good, right? It looks pretty good. Privacy by default, powered by design. So Pulse Chain's getting a new wallet. Now we also know that ChangeNow is doing a new wallet, but this wallet is special, right? This wallet is having the combination between privacy features and normal wallet features combined together. And as I understand, it's the first one out there on the market. But if you guys know anything that's similar, let me know. But this is going to have railway ZKX technology, and of course you're going to be able to share balances and do everything else. But here's the kicker: they're also linked into their protocols with LibertyX, so you can do DEX aggregation as well, and also LibertySwap doing bridge to bridge, all that sort of stuff. So they're really integrating all these features. Where else you get? It's a one-stop shop. And of course, what they got coming up, obviously this wallet's launching, big deal. People have been, wanting another wallet. Internet money is fantastic, but some people want different approach, different experience, and so that's also, and of course, we're going to have privacy solutions as well, making retail adoption of privacy features just a natural thing. Isn't that awesome? And it's all happening here on Pulse Chain, based out of Pulse Chain because multi-chain. So really huge here on the wallet. So I think that's pretty exciting. And you can see that here. They're going to obviously have tokens, NFTs, DeFi activity. They're going to have swap and bridge, so tied into the PCock ecosystem there. Rewards coming up, so we're pretty excited about that, right? And of course, they're going to have a ZKX airdrop. And of course, that's going to be essentially like a DAO staking token. And that's going to be arguably the majority of it to PCock holders, as we understand it. So that's going to be cool. And that could be very imminent within the next couple of weeks. So hyper bullish there, and it looks beautiful, and people are going to love that, I think. So people are crying out for that, and it's going to be on all the platforms, which is cool. So we're going to have another Kingpin wallet on Pulse Chain, and of course integrated into the rest of the ecosystem. Guess what else they're coming? Right, they've got lots of other stuff coming up. They got their yield product coming up, so that's a huge thing for Pulse Chain about boosting liquidity. So that's coming up too. We're expecting that this month. And also they've got Liberty Lend coming up with lending. So imagine being privacy and then lending. We could get some huge things happening there, pumping the old chain things. So it's exciting. So this team just keeps on building out more and more stuff. And just when you think that they've teased it, they tease some more stuff coming. So they've got lots of ideas and lots of top stuff coming to Pulse Chain. And of course, it's a multi-chain future, right? So very cool from LibertySwap. Let's see if they've got anything else. Well, I've been talking about the live stream, reposting here. They've also been accumulating a lot of stuff as well in terms of Pulse. They've been buying a lot of Pulse, Ethereum, and PCock. That's essentially what they've been doing. And of course, 21 hours ago, the PCock strategy has accumulated $3,000 worth of PCock, $1,000 of Pulse, along with some ETH. So they continue to buy those three assets there, building up their own LP positions. Now, we did see Pulse alerts the other day, so let's go to that. Pulse alerts. We did see some bridge stuff coming in. Look at this. So on the 8th there, so yesterday, 2 days ago, let's say, Pulse Chain Bridge net flow, or day and a half, $186,000, 461,000 in and 274 out. So net 186. Now of that, 173,000 inflow came via LibertySwap. Woo! Is that setting up for the yield aggregator? I don't know. Is that just a big client coming through? That is pretty cool. So we do know they've got the yield product coming. Obviously, we just had the SDK and the API, and that's already been adopted quickly, by the Pulse guy, for example, and others will be using that. Internet Money Wallet wants to use that stuff, right, for adding privacy features there in Money Wallet. And of course, they've got all their clients, 115,000 users or downloaders of the Internet Money Wallet. And then we've now got the wallet coming within the April timeframe. And also, and I'm confirming that with the comments they've made, so I'm not just saying that myself. So the April timeframe, and also the big yield product coming. And so we're finally getting into yield products too from the LibertySwap, and they've got a couple of different things they could do there. So we're expecting multi-yield things, not just the liquidity, which is a big one. That's one we want. We want liquidity coming through Pulse Chain, right, and volume. And they're talking about ramping it up. They've also teased about having a lot of third-party large platforms supporting the expansion and brand awareness and usability of LibertySwap Frontier DeFi, around the privacy and normal wallet type of activities, bridging, swapping, aggregating, everything else. But this is exciting too, where that's all going to head. So we've already seen their name get picked up on top Ethereum sites as LibertySwap there, and privacy. Privacy, of course, is one of the mega themes of the bull market ahead, and truly a DeFi feature, right? So we also see Vitalik from Ethereum obviously picking that up with their new roadmap, right? Getting back to the basics, which is what Rich Hart has said for a long time, right? They're getting back to a lot of stuff that Rich Hart has said. So Rich Hart has been, pretty much right on virtually, let's say 90+% of the things he said about the market have been right on the money. And a lot of the other big founders and kingpins in crypto have veered away violently from that and coming back to where Richard Hart has always said you should be going for real DeFi, right? So get rid of the middleman and provide true DeFi solutions, true freedom there. Because why would you give yourself up? Why would you give power up to an idiot, right? That's the thing. That's always what I ask myself. Why would you give power? But people do it all the time. People do it all the time. All right, so there we go. That is the play. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. An hour and 26 minutes on the live. I think that was a pretty amazing show. Hope you guys enjoyed it too. Let's just summarize quickly. So we got CPI on Friday, inflation. So I hope we're expecting a slightly higher number. But let's see how that plays out. We've got about just under 3 weeks to go to the next Fed meeting. We're expecting a no change in interest rates there for the time being, at least until June potentially. But then we're expecting, July certainly have a rate cut by then. So that's kind of where we're with the new chair. I think the differential is about 50 basis points at least, if not 75. In other words, going down by at least that much. I think we should be closer to 1-to-1. I think that the Fed's wrong on its current level, even with the conflict in Iran and the temporary effects, as let's call it. And so that's the play. We also got so Friday is the inflation, and then we've got the 15th is the tax returns. That would be a big deal. So we typically get an uplift in the markets, particularly crypto, following the tax return on the 15th. So that's next week. We already had Tom DeMark's number 62 days ago for Ethereum at 1790. We got the 1740, I think it was. So I think we got the bottom in there. I don't think we're going down to, we're already at 65% down on Ethereum. We were down 50% on Bitcoin. Bitcoin, of course, getting down to 60K. We got the bottom of the power law curve there, floor at 53K. I think there's always a possibility we could hit that, but I just think it's low. And so I think, the bottom is essentially in. And of course, the April the 15th, they're probably very much going to put that stamp on it, and we'll get a nice continued rally. Obviously, since the beginning of the war, we've had that down, 10% down, and we've been seeing the markets go up. Mag 7, the stock market starting to lift as well with the indices. And I think we've had a 500-point gain on S&P 500 or something. I can't remember the exact number, but that's the play. We've got obviously software doing well, and of course crypto software. We've got that digital money scarcity doing well, and now we've got the digital asset treasuries, the ETFs starting to explode from the big banks, adding on tens of thousands of salespeople and huge client bases there with all the traditional money. And of course, we've got the debt markets being vampired by Michael Saylor and the new stretch preferred stocks, raising capital, buying Bitcoin. The flywheel is real. So this is exciting times. We've got all that pushing in, all the capital. They are pumping our bags, right? It's all that money coming in for Bitcoin, Ethereum, pumping our bags. And it's just the beginning. And the markets, all the fundamentals are strong. The market will re-rate, and we'll get our big Raoul Paul hockey stick will eventually come. And it didn't happen last year, but it's got to be pepping up for that now. So yeah, April the 15th next week, just that final seal of the bottom. And then we can start moving up on the old charts there. We have had some favorable movements in the Fed, in the midterms, moving back. And if Trump can seal the deal on the Iranian issue within the next at least before the end of May, if not the end of April. End of April would be fantastic. Then we're all good for a safer world, safer US, more prosperous world. We're going to probably start getting really good GDP numbers. We're already seeing good employment numbers. Remember, 3x the employment number. They were expecting about 60K. They got about 170, 180K. So employment numbers are already coming out from all that investment last year, that 18 to 20 trillion, really starting to play out. Obviously, there's going to be structural changes with AI, dramatic, and that's why you being in crypto is a game changer for your life and for your family. Because if we are at the bottom, we are about to take off with all the value coming from traditional markets into blockchain. Ethereum is clearly winning the game on that, and along with Bitcoin, and that will flow into chains like Pulse Chain as people get wealthier, and we also get the magic cart ride playing out with Richard Hart's ETH, etc. And if you're in that camp, that he applies at least a fraction of that over to Pulse Chain, let alone bringing on new protocols and sacrifices, whatever else he might do. So it is exciting times where we are right now. So turning point. So I hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, and yeah, let's get into it. We got Sean in the house. Great show. I appreciate that, Sean. Thanks very much. And we got Fat Sammy says, yeah, that would be great. Yeah, just hit me up on Telegram. Fat Sammy, just DM me or something like that, and we'll set that up. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. An hour and a half, not bad. I'll catch you again on tomorrow's daily show, and we'll just keep bulling on this momentum. We'll have to see what the stretch does for Friday's results. I'm printing thousands of Bitcoin. My goodness, just crazy. Second month really taken off. Remember last month? Last month it was huge returns. 18,000 Bitcoin they got. Then 20. What's the next week? 23,000. This month they probably won't do quite as high as that unless they do a lot of common stock. But it could be a big month too. And momentum is just beginning. This is off the bottom. Momentum's only going to grow the more confidence happens, and we could see some huge numbers. I really do feel very confident that Bitmine Immersion is going to hit their 6 million ETH this year. And I feel pretty damn confident also that strategy will hit its 5%. So hit 1 million, hits 1 million Bitcoin target this year. Some people have got some pretty big numbers for strategy now, but the 2 million, the 3 million, 4 million mark, I've even seen scenarios. I'm not up in there in that camp because obviously Bitcoin could get very expensive. You are vampiring the debt markets, so that can have an effect. But let's say I'm very confident about 1 million this year. I'm very confident about 6 million ETH, and but what I'm more excited upon just that is actually the vampiring of the debt markets to pump Bitcoin, and then the basically moving finance from traditional markets over to Ethereum. These are the mega themes. This is once in a lifetime. This is like the movement away from gold to digital money in the early in the 70s and stuff. This is a very, very different time. And obviously, money is just inflating. It's getting devalued. The Bitcoin is a fixed supply. And of course, by 2032, guys, 2032, there's virtually going to be no inflation. I mean, the inflation rate on Bitcoin from 2032 is virtually nothing. And so the value of a fixed supply with vampiring the debt markets and equity also coming in is it's just mind-boggling, guys. Do you see it? It's mind-boggling. Everything else inflates, even gold. Even gold inflates. All right, they're always finding new gold. Elon Musk, I mean, there's a bit fly in the pie, but Elon Musk could get a space, rocket and go find an asteroid that might have gold or something. It's just, but this planet's still got plenty of gold in it, and but Bitcoin's not going to be going anywhere. It's just going to be basically by 2032. It's close to fixed supply. Yeah, the last piece of Bitcoin's being mined out in 2141, but that if you look at the curve, it's pretty much there's hardly anything coming. Do you see what's happening? This is truly life changing, and you're here at the I think the last big time to get in at a relative bottom, right? Richard Hart used to talk about really cheap prices back in the day when he was mining Bitcoin in March 2011, and all the the good times that he was there. But actually, even at 72K, which seems to be 69 seems to be a big battleground for Bitcoin, but even at 72K, it's super cheap compared to where we think where Bitcoin could go. That's why Michael Saylor has such big numbers for Bitcoin. I think his 2045 number is 13 million in his mid case or base case. So that's ginormous, right? So that's 184x from here just by then. Obviously, that's only going to suit people depending on their age groups. But look, we're looking at the short game. The short game itself by 2032 is just ginormous. Everything else inflates, but Bitcoin is essentially going to be done by 2032, the supply. Lots of it's lost too. Lots of it, I think 3.7 million or more. Most of it a bit higher, 4 million plus. But it's essentially there. So that only leaves, the only risk is, of course, is for Satoshi's 1 million, right? That's assuming that doesn't move. That's kind of it. So, all right, I hope you guys enjoyed that inspiration, because it's going to be exciting, guys. Woo-hoo! Ramp it up. Turn the grind on. 26 to 32. Next 6 years is going to be impressive. Debt market's going to get vampired. Bitcoin's going to go to the moon. And, of course, finance is coming to Ethereum. It's going to be so exciting. Hope you guys enjoy it. Pulse Chain should benefit a hell of a lot from all those forces as well. All right, take care, everybody, and bye for now.